Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Cheap Brew. I'm Anthony, and today we're embarking on our first 4K project ever. Today, I'm standing underneath this big leaf maple tree in the backyard, and I don't have any syrup from it, but I do have some maple syrup from Vermont, which is sitting on the counter in my kitchen just begging to be fermented. So, we're gonna kick things off with a maple wine for our first 4K project. You may have noticed our workspace today is just a little bit bigger. I've got a whole table, dining room out that direction, a stove, a reasonably large sink. We're living in a completely different place now. But anyway, nobody wants to hear about that. Let's talk about the maple wine. Ingredient-wise, we are going to use 1 gallon of Crystal Geyser, and for the syrup, we're using some cheap $23 syrup that I got. It's a 32-ounce bottle of organic syrup. I lied earlier, it's not from Vermont, it's from Canada. Conveniently, my wife is from Canada too, so this ought to be pretty good, because so is she. 32 ounces should be enough to get the job done. If it's not, then I have another 4 ounces in this little bottle right here. It was more than 4 ounces, but I had pancakes. Since this is a highly sugary and not much nutrient-rich environment for the yeast, we've got yeast nutrient. The yeast that we're using is the Maverick Jack's mead yeast. Why am I using mead yeast? Because I am also making a mead right after I put all this stuff together. So, different video. Probably the same shirt, same haircut. Who cares about the haircut? Let's talk about how to make this thing. So the way we're gonna do this is essentially the same as if we were going to make a mead. The only difference is we are substituting the honey with maple syrup. We're taking all of the maple syrup in that jar and we're putting it into our fermentation jug. We're then going to fill up the fermentation jug about half to 3/4 of the way with the water. We're going to leave that extra room so that when we shake it or stir it, or in other words, aerate it, we can give all that headroom with the air in it. All that oxygen is going to mix in with the future must, and that is going to give the yeast something to breathe while they're creating a carbon dioxide rich environment. After that, we're going to take a gravity reading and we're going to see exactly how much sugar is in this must. For this one, I'm not gonna shake. I don't have a plug for this lid. So we're gonna stir this time. Some people say you can't stir to aerate your must, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. So our starting gravity is 1.1, which means this is going to ferment out to about 13% ABV. And according to the person at Olympic Brewing Supplies, where I bought this yeast from, it will ferment out about that. So there's a potential I might even have to back sweeten. But this is going to sit for a long time before we ever get a chance to find that out. In other news, I've started a yeast starter. I always like to take a little bit out of this to get the yeast, used to the sugars that they're gonna be eating. I don't think that really even matters, to be honest, but that's just my technique. Once that's started to spin up, which it looks like it has begun to spin up a little bit, this is ready. I threw in the yeast nutrient. It was 1 teaspoon of it, and went right into this jug. And aside from putting the yeast back in and doing another little whiskey maneuver, this thing is going to be ready to be fermented. So that's that. We've got the airlock on, the lid is on, it's ready to go into primary fermentation. Hoist this sucker up, look at that. That is 1 gallon of maple wine must. I think that it's safe to say I don't need this, so maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll use this for some pancakes. I'm gonna go put it away because I don't need to use it on that. It is now day 11 of our primary fermentation on the maple must. I will say that it never got very exciting. I will say though that it reeks of alcohol when you pop the lid and sniff it a little bit, so I think that's a good sign. I'm gonna let it sit for another 4 days, and I'll come back and I'll check it, maybe do a gravity reading, and we'll see if it's ready to be racked. If there's not very much activity going on still, it will be ready to be racked. But for now, it's just gonna go back in the corner. Well, it's day 22 of the maple wine project. I did let this sit for about a week longer than I had originally anticipated, just because I still saw a few bubbles here and there. It's really doing absolutely nothing now. So we're gonna take a gravity reading and see exactly how much fermentation has occurred. I think either way, there's nothing going on in this thing today, so we're probably gonna be racking today. So our gravity is 0.99. I don't think I've ever seen a gravity reading that low. I'm pretty impressed. That's about 13% alcohol by volume, with a starting gravity of 1.1. I'm gonna finish racking this, and then I've got a whole bunch of other stuff to do, cleaning, and then, in typical fashion, it's bedtime. And now we wait. Doesn't this look beautiful? It's got a nice little color to it. A nice little mapley kind of orange, brown, amber color, if I might say so myself. Quite beautiful, and 13% ABV. The next step for our maple wine is for it to go into secondary fermentation or clearing. Probably gonna be another couple months before this is ready to go again, but we'll see what happens. Until then, I'm gonna put it back in the corner and we'll wait. Welcome to day 42 of maple wining. Speaking of wining, I'm not, because our wine is super clear, and it's only been 15 days. Today's task is to rack the wine out of its current fermenter into another fermenter, which is going to be the one we bottle from. After we rack, we're adding one of these Camden tablets to stabilize the wine. This is because I'm going to be doing something called back sweetening. Back sweetening is the process of adding some sweetness to a wine that might be a little bit too dry, which we know this one is incredibly dry because it fermented below 1.0. I bought another jar of maple syrup from the store, and that's what we're going to be using to back sweeten when the time comes. But tonight, all we're gonna do is rack and add a Camden tablet, and tomorrow we're gonna try our hand at back sweetening. Camden tablet later, we still have a nice clear maple wine. We're gonna let it sit for about 24 hours before we do the next step, which is back sweetening. While we're waiting for the Camden tablet to do all its business, I figured maybe we have a itsy bitsy teeny weeny tiny little bit of the maple wine to see kind of what our starting point is. Start with a smell test real quick. The older that this thing gets, the less it smells awful, and the more it actually does smell like wine. So I bet it's got a lot of heat though, and I'll give it a little sip here and we can see how much heat it really has. Oh God, shit. Yeah, it's like fermented water. Whew, with a hint of Everclear shit. Yeah, anyways, this will require some back sweetening. It's hella dry. Maybe it's just been too long, but sheesh. That's going down the drain. I've got my work cut out for me as far as back sweetening goes. That's basically like drinking dragon's fire. It needs help. And luckily, some help has arrived. In case that transition was too smooth for you, it's been officially 24 hours since we put the Camden tablet in the maple wine over here, so it's now time to put some maple syrup in to back sweeten. My goal this evening is to create more of a dessert kind of wine. I'm affectionately refusing to use dessert wine, and since it's made out of maple syrup, we're calling this a breakfast wine for day drinkers out there. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put maple syrup into the wine about a quarter cup at a time or so. I'm gonna mix it in and take a series of gravity readings and taste tests to see where exactly we are on the way to our perfect breakfast wine. I'm gonna start by looking for a gravity of about 1.008 to 1.010, and if that's not enough, then I'll work my way up from there. But I wanted to work this in nice and slowly so that I don't overdo it. So right now the gravity's sitting just a little bit above 1.0, so I figured now would be a good time to take another little taste test of this and see how we're doing so far. It's still pretty harsh, but this is slightly better. Let's keep going. After adding 3/4 of a cup of maple syrup, we are now at a gravity of 1.1. So I'm gonna give this a little sample and see if it's close to where I'm at. I'm thinking I'm gonna add more. Breakfast wine probably needs to be sweet, but I guess we'll see how sweet this actually is. Ooh, that's definitely sweeter. I don't think I'm gonna go any further than that, actually. I'm concerned that if I add too much more, it'll take away from the character and the mouthfeel of this, which is actually not that bad. Yeah, at this point, it kind of reminds me of a Boucher mead that I made. It's really hard to describe, but I think this is actually a good flavor point. We should stop here and let it sit to see if it will ferment out, and hopefully it doesn't. 1.010 seems to be the magic number. I'm gonna seal this sucker back up, put it over there, and I think after I get back from this next stretch of 6 days at work or so, I'm gonna bottle this. Today's the day, bottling day. It's been 51 days since we started this little maple wine project and poured my heart and soul into it, and I think now it's time to pour its heart and soul into these 750 milliliter wine bottles. I've gone ahead and sanitized 5 of these 750 milliliter wine bottles, 5 corks, and all my equipment, and I'm gonna throw the maple wine in here real quick, and then I'm going to admire my creation. Just like that, we've bottled 4.5 bottles of maple wine. And this is just a gorgeous color. It's just this most wonderful amber color, and I'm super excited to see how this ages out. So the rundown, we had a starting gravity of 1.1. We fermented out to 0.990. And if you do the math on the specific gravity calculator that you can find online, you'll get 14.5% ABV, which we then back sweetened as well. I will say it's still a little bit on the harsh side. I took a small sample again, it's only been 6 days, but I just had to kind of remind myself that there is a significantly low starting point here in terms of my expectations. So as this ages, I'll be curious to see how it goes. And in 6 months, I'll do a little tasting video with the contents of this bottle. Even if this ends up being a complete bust and never tastes good, it was super fun to make, super fun to edit the video, and it's good to get back into doing some home brewing. So if you liked the video, drop a like, leave me a comment about all the little things that I did wrong, including, I don't know if you noticed this, but I used the wrong measuring cup. I told you guys that it was a quarter, it was a third. So I apologize for that. Anyways, the next project I've got going on is a mead. I'm gonna put the link here in the video suggestion box when that's all done. But between now and then, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.